Identifying
The king of cakes. Chopper for the win.
G'day guys, welcome back to Cakes by Chopper. Today we have the Weeping Angel for you from the Doctor Who series. What you're going to do is pop over to the Facebook page, all the links are in the description, print off the template, and then stack your cakes. I went 3 high. This is only a suggestion, but I used a chocolate on the bottom, a vanilla cinnamon in the middle, and then chocolate on the top. You're going to cut out the shape of the face and then start tapering down the edges. Take it in at the temple and then in at the cheeks, and then use the offcuts to create the nose, the eyebrows, and her cheeks. Once you've got the facial features cut out to proportion, you can start filling it with your buttercream or mock cream. In this case, I used a vanilla mock cream, which, if you add enough vanilla and the right amount of water, it tastes a little bit like ice cream. So you can fill your layers and then give it a crumb coat all over the top. Be sure to stick down the pieces in the right area. Just use the template to go over the top to make sure you've got the spacing right, because you don't want her eyebrows too far up her forehead or her cheeks too low or anything like that. Whilst you're going over these, take off any sharp edges and try and round it down with the buttercream, because when you put the fondant on, it's going to take on the shape of this really, really well. So make sure it's smooth and the ridges are kept to a minimum. When piping on the hair, you want to copy the curls at the front and then do the part down the center and then just some random wiggles at the side. Put in 2 dots for her eyes and then her lips, and you want to just manipulate these down to make them all smooth and in the right shape. With your fondant, I tried to create a grey, but because I used a black that was based on purple, it sort of went this murky purple colour. But I fixed that up with some dye at the end. If you get yours grey, then perfect. Use your sculpting tools to manipulate the fondant down into the creases. Now this is where you're going to let the fondant do the most of the work. You're just sort of tucking it in where it's caught maybe a little air bubble here and there. And then with a sharp, pointy sculpting tool, add in all the finer details, because this is a sculpted statue. So it's quite easy to replicate with the fondant. Just go through, and if you don't have any sculpting tools, use a toothpick, but make sure you put it in some water first so it doesn't drag along. Then it's just a matter of spending a little bit of time on the details, putting the wrinkles where they are, manipulating the mouth to a bit of depth and adding a tongue, drawing around the lines. This is where your template comes in really, really handy. And for the hair, I didn't focus too much on the sides. I did from the top, but at the sides and the bottom, I just sort of followed the lines of the wrinkles, and that seemed to work really well for me. Trim off all the excess. Don't worry about doing the cleanup, because we're going to line this cake. Now we're going to move on to the mouth. I gave her cheeks a little bit more definition and then used the sculpting tool to carve out a tongue. And then it was time to cut the teeth out. I did 4 at the top and then the 2 side fangs. And make sure you place them in and adhere them with some water. Now if you're an avid fan of Doctor Who, or you know a big fan, why not check out my Tardis Cake in the top corner. Just click the picture and it'll open up in a new tab for you, and you can see how to make the TARDIS in cake form. Okay, once you're finished with the teeth, just make sure they're all even and level. Then you're going to roll out some of the grey fondant, place it around the bottom, and cut it at the top because you want to hide the seam. Then leave it on the bench for 5 minutes to air dry a little bit. Now you can start putting in the details with a very thin brush and some black food dye. Then move on to a thicker brush to give it the shadows around the mouth and the cheeks. I wasn't quite happy with this look, so I decided to continue and give it a gloss coat all over. Now this is just a very light rub over that's going to give it a little bit more of a colour definition. Don't worry about wetting it, because this does dry. Unfortunately I didn't get any photos of it while it was dry, but it did end up setting. A lot of people have issues with putting water on fondant, but I find if you're dipping the brush and then you're sort of painting it across, it's only a very thin layer, so you want to keep that in mind. You're just giving it a coat, you're not actually putting lots and lots of water on it. And there you go, you have your Weeping Angel cake. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for checking out my videos. Here are some of my superhero cakes, and I do an easy tutorial on Tuesdays and a new video every Friday. Thanks for watching.